Okay. Today we are going to discuss about a lightning flows and approval process. In lightning flows, there are like a different varieties of flows. Okay, first one is a screen flows and then record triggered flows. In record triggered flows, we will have before and after save flows, the record triggered flows, and auto launch flows, schedule flows, and there is some more actually. Mm, Platform event triggered flows and how we can launch. Yep. I just give you a quick background. So how we create a flow is from setup, we'll search for a flows, click here and create a new flow. When we try to create a new flow, we have a different options available. All these 5 options. Screen, record trigger, schedule, platform event, auto launch flow. Okay. Here itself you can see high level description. So all are flows. Basically, initially flows are just a screen flows. All the other 4 options are not there. So from last 1 or 1.5 year, Salesforce is expanding and making more work on the flow side and trying to start supporting a workflows and process builders. Okay, now let's discuss like what are all these 5 types of flows and all. First one is a screen flow, very like a traditional flow or originally where it started actually flow. So whenever you have kind of screen based UI, okay, first screen, first step, second, third, fourth, one after other, or you want to move between the screens like previous, next screen, any kind of a job application or any kind of usual web forms, right? You will be having a step kind of process. So once you complete this step only, you will move to forward. Or if you want to go back also, you can go back and you can see completed or kind of path kind of thing and a screen close. But if you want such an UI, then you can go for a screen flow. It's very simple and it's kind of a flow structure. In Process Builder, what kind of flow we have? Not a flow. It's kind of a flow diagram, right? In Process Builder, we have a condition. If yes, what should happen? If false, what should happen? But here in a screen flow, we build a screen with a drag and drop components. What need to be displayed? What need to be rendered? And if I click next, what should happen? And into what screen it should navigate. Based on the input values also, we can decide the what next screen has to be. And we can move back and forth in the flow. And we can pause the flows. Like suppose if you are in the somewhere in the middle of the flow and you can save and come back and continue there. Okay, that's what a screen flow is, and it's purely visual coding. So in program, what we do, if you need application, then we give one form when user submits, okay, validate these fields. If they ask to fill, then make them to keep filled. And okay, after submit, okay, save the record and go to the next form or like next screen, go to the next page or like send an email or do a integration kind of thing. We do everything in a programming. Here in a screen itself, we ask Salesforce to do, okay, add this field, we'll drag and drop, and whatever the structure you want, we'll fill it. And then on save in the background, you save, delete, or update, whatever you want to do, and show the next screen. So instead of writing a program, we drag and drop the components and connect them in a order. That's what a screen flow is. Okay, there itself it's saying screen. So user intervention is required. So if it will show the screen, and on screen you whatever you want you can do, and then only it will proceed further with the user interaction. Record trigger flow. So this is where actually replacing all the workflows and the process builders. This is one type of flow. So whenever the record created or updated or deleted. So in workflow or process builder, only on created, updated only you have option. But in a record triggered flows, you have option whenever the record is deleted also you can perform some actions. That is add on to the flow. And here also in process builder, what are the actions we have? We can create any record, but coming to update, only on the related records only we can update. But in a flows, even though there is no relation to any the current record also, you can perform anything on any record, even though they are related or not related, doesn't matter. And you have a delete function, and you can do callouts, you can call other classes, you can schedule things from the like time based. After some time you want to do something, or like immediately if you want to do something. And here one more advantage is in workflows and process builder, after record gets saved, then only they will get started. So if you want to update any field, it need a one more DML. That means after saving the data to the database only, process builder or workflow will starts. And if there's any field updates, it will do one more DML to update the record. I'm talking in terms of a backend database thing. Okay, but in flows, you have option to trigger the flows before the record getting saved to the database and after record getting saved to a database. So what's the advantage? If you are able to trigger something before the record is getting hit to the database, so if you make changes to that record without additional DML itself, the record will get saved with your changes also. So you are saving one DML here, and system will be more faster than the way you expected, or like the way you give solution in a process builder and workflow, the flows will be more faster. And when you have before and after, so what's the difference? Before is before the record is getting saved to database, so whatever you input the information only that will be there. After saving to the database, what will have all your system fields and that will be populated. For example, after saving the record to the database, the Salesforce ID will get generated and like created by like last modified by timestamp. All these fields will get populated after a save. That is only the difference between a before and after save. And after save, if you make changes, even it's a flow, you have to make additional save. Why? Because it's already saved to the database. If you do any make changes, it will be only to the record. It will not go to a database until unless you hit save to the database. Okay, but both ways we can do. That is a record trigger flow and a schedule trigger flow. So if you see all this, except first one, all this four, somehow it has to trigger. The flow has to be triggered from the point. There are difference only with how this flow is getting triggered. This flow is getting triggered whenever the record change happen. Then only this flow will invoked. Here schedule trigger. Based on your schedule, when you schedule, when the time comes, this flow will get triggered. That is only the difference between these two. And a platform event trigger. So whenever a platform event fires, then only this flow will get triggered. The difference only is how it's going to trigger the components, everything will be same. Auto launch flows. These are like somehow you need to launch. There is no trigger point to it. So if you're calling from somewhere else, it will get called. It could be your custom component or your Apex or from other process builder or from other flows. It could be anything. From anywhere, if you trigger, then only it will get triggered. Nothing automated. All these three are automated. When record is saved, then only it will trigger. But we cannot trigger manually. Or manually in the sense, you cannot call them other than the record trigger. Here, other than schedule, we cannot trigger this. Other than platform event, we cannot trigger them. But these are like kind of a generic method. So we can reuse these flows. So I can use auto launch flows in any of these flows. Okay, and if I have functionality which I'm going to use multiple places, or like I want to call it whenever I wanted from a Apex or a process builder or from a other flow I can use this type of a flows. Okay, that is on a flows. Let's see how a flow will be. Okay, this is all some kind of a diagram, but it is not completely restricted. So here we can drag and drop and all. There are two layouts, auto layout and freeform layout. If it's auto layout, wherever you can add, only you get a plus symbol. There you can add your components, either screen, action, subflow, assignment, decision loop, sorting, filtering, record. Here the DML operate, the DML or database operations, creating records, updating, fetching a records, deleting, and rollback records. Okay, so no, I'm not comfortable with it. Let's make it a free form. So then I will get elements over here and I will drag over here. For example, if I have any actions, I will add actions here and then it will be added. Or like if I have subflow, I can add a subflow. I can add my screen one. I'm giving what I need here. I want to give some display text here. I would say this as a title of mine. Okay, and I want to add some UI to here. Activate user, or suppose I want to add some text here, or name, and want to make it required, any default value. Want to give some default value here. Done. So this is my screen one. Okay. So here I want to connect here. Whenever I start a flow, I want to go to the screen one. And then I want to create a record. Okay, I want to create a record. Which account I want to create? Suppose I want to create a account record. Okay. So how many records do you want to create? One record or multiple records? I need just one record. And do you have any resource or not? So create a new resource here that is of type variable, and new account, and data type should be a record type. So here you can see different type of a data type. Record object is a account. Here wherever you have multiple has single value or multiple values, we have to define it. Okay, that's it, done. Okay, record is there, done. Now I said like I have a variable created and I want it to insert, but have I inserted the data into it? Not yet. There is two ways of it. Either I can give the values here itself. I give username and okay. So I need to assign the screen values to this record values. So I have to use assignment. In the assignment, yes, I call it as a assign form to account fields, for example. Then what is the variable of mine? I want in the new account in the name field. I want to map it to a screen. What is my screen? My first screen or something. Okay, your name is a variable. I'll map it to here and done. Okay, so what should be the order? After screen, I have to assign it to the account, and then I want to save it to account, and then I want to add one more screen saying that um, kind of a success screen. So screen, and here I want to display a message saying that your account creator success. Okay, and okay, we're done. So after create after this save, I wanted to connect to this one. So I did it manually. No, I don't it feel like a structured way. Just change it to auto layout. So what will happen? See, it will arrange it in a good format. If you don't want, you can switch to a free form. If you want, you can switch to a layout. Okay. Okay. So I'm done with my flow. Let's save and say screen flow account create. Done. Save. So once it is saved, so until unless you save, it will not be saved. If you just refresh, it will be lost. Okay, so after saving, you can the option to run on debug to test it out. Okay, so let's run this flow, how it behaves. Okay, this is how it looks. Okay, my first screen, and here I'm just giving as Abdul account here. Click next. It's saying account is created. Okay, it's saying fine, but let me check is it's really created account or not. One more, and let's go to a accounts tab and see whether I it created a account or not. See here, account got created. Okay, that is how flow will work. Okay, finish. Now if I want to use somewhere, so end user cannot see these flows and all, only developer can see or admin can see. So if I want to use somewhere in the UI, I want to add it. First thing was you have to activate it, first step. So once it is activated, suppose if I want to give it on a home screen, for example. Okay, let's add that on this page, for example. On this page, I want to add this form. Okay, you have to search for a flow and just drag and drop uh, your flow. Once it is there, then select the what's your flow name. What is our flow name? You remember? flow name, screen flow account. Okay, screen flow account create. Okay, this is our layout. Should be a two column. Not sure, just I'm picking one. Save, activate, go back. Org default, send as profiles. Okay, it's good so far. Let's see whether I was able to see the flow or not. So I can see a flow here. So I can add to ACC. Just I'm adding it here. Click next. Finish. It created. So go to account. I can see here Abdul to SSA. That's it. So that's all. Like if you want to add anywhere the screen flows in a pages, you can drag and drop and select the screen flows. Okay, now let's move on to the second type of a flows. New flow. Record triggered flow. Create. Here, when it's a record trigger flow, on which record changes, on which object record changes, it has to fire. We have to pick that account. I mean, pick that object. So we have a list of objects over here, which are objects you select. That will be create. So you have option to create, update, create or updated, or record is deleted. When this has to be fired. So I would say whenever created or updated, I want to fire it. So you have two options here. This is a before, this is a after. So before means actions, sorry, before means fast field updates. Trigger flow to run. This high performance flow runs before the record is saved to the database. So if something just pre-populating the values and all, we can use a fast field updates one. And if I need to something to do with the related records with ID and all, then I'll go for a action and related records. Okay, so let's go. I want to do a fast field updates only. And if I want to add condition like only if that condition met, then only fire, I can add otherwise without any condition for all the records also. If you leave this blank, it will fire for all the records. Okay, let's fire for all the records. Okay, now what else we can do? Okay, it's just ready. And let's add a component. So same way, auto layout and freeform. If you have freeform, just you need to drag and drop and do the things. Okay, I want to pre-populate some of the values. That is, let's say pre-populate account fields. Okay, so here we will get a variable called a record by default when we are in the record trigger flows. Okay, so when it's a record and what we want to fill, I want to fill a billing city is New York, for example. That's only as I want to populate. So after this one, that's it, done. I don't have any other things. Account before before save. That's I'm giving an account before save. And save, not enough. You have to activate it. Similar to a process builder, once you activate it, if you want to make any changes and you cannot save on the same version, okay, you have to do a save as and you have to create a new version. And here you can see version, this is a v1, and when you do a save as a new version, then a new then a new version will be created and you have to activate one of the version. Okay, now I activated it. So what happened, whenever account is getting created, I would be able to see a city. So when it will be fire on edit and on save also. What city I did, billing city or something else. So here you can see there's a billing, sorry, not this one. Yeah, here billing city. So this is a blank actually. Okay, if I click save, it has to populate with the value New York. You see here on William City, it populated in New York. Okay, if I create a new account, also same thing will happen. So if I create a new account, and go to details and billing, you see this by default itself is populating in New York. That is how it is. And next, what we have is schedule flows and platform event trigger flows. So when you click on a new flow, here you have option called after record trigger flow, schedule trigger flows. On schedule trigger flow, only difference is on a record trigger flow, we selected an object and we applied a condition before, after, or created, updated, or deleted. We select all the events whichever we want to be fired. In a schedule, what we have to do, we have to do a schedule. What time, what frequency, only once, daily, weekly, when we wanted to do. So if you want to do a daily and set from what date it has to start, for example, 10th, and what time, for example, 12 a.m., and do from date August 10th, daily at 12 a.m., this will be fired. What will be executed? What you will add in this component list in the order. Daily after August 10th, it will fire with this all the events. So what you want to do? Suppose if you want to delete some records, suppose you are doing some cleanup job. Okay. What I wanted to do, I wanted to delete mm, delete accounts. I would say delete dummy accounts, for example. ID record